Hey guys, come on downstairs. We're bringing a little Microsoft Flight Simulator to you today. We continue our tour of the United States, checking out sports venues along the way. And we have reached our Southern California episode. We left off last episode in Arizona. We were in Tucson. So we're going to take off from Tucson and head almost straight west basically along the Mexico-U.S. border to Arizona. So we're leaving from Marana Regional Airport, just north of Tucson. We were back in a Cessna Citation. So it's kind of what we've been using to get from state to state, unless it's a super close flight like Laramie to Fort Collins was. And we are ready to get up in the air here in Tucson. I'm excited for this episode, guys. There is a ton of content here, a ton of sports venues. And making it, I actually learned a ton about the layout of the Los Angeles area and kind of where all the universities are. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed making this episode, actually the next two episodes, seeing where everything was in the state of California. I mean, I knew all the schools that were in the LA area, but I couldn't tell you where in the LA area they were. But now I can. Now I can basically point them out. All right, we're 215 miles away from San Diego. We speed things up a little bit. We're at 33,000 feet. It's our cruising altitude, so we're up there a little ways. We can see into Mexico from here. So up ahead, I believe, is like the city of Mexicali in Mexico, and it's Calexico in California. But obviously you can see the bigger part of it is in Mexico, just off the left wing, and that's Mexicali, actually not in the United States. So we are basically flying right along the border of Mexico. Now we're 24 miles away from San Diego. So we get ready to fly in. I've actually flown into San Diego in a private jet before, in the cockpit, which was pretty cool. We did not land at this airport, though. We landed at Brown Municipal Airport. I was with my uncle, at one point he had two private jets, and one of them was big enough that it required a second pilot with him, but he had one that was smaller that didn't require a second pilot, so he could have anybody sit in the cockpit with him. So I had a chance to sit in the cockpit going from Logan, Utah down to San Diego, where he has a home in Coronado Keys. But it was pretty fun, actually, to sit in the cockpit and enjoy the flight that way. When we were landing at Brown Municipal Airport, actually, some guy went out on the runway as we were coming into land, and he got screamed at by the air traffic control guy in the tower. It was kind of funny. My uncle was like, yeah, that guy's going to have his license revoked or face some type of fine or consequence. All right, we're coming into San Diego. This airport, San Diego International. We're landing on runway 27. It is not an ILS runway. And we're going to come down right by the city of San Diego, which I thought was pretty cool. It was pretty fun to do this landing, actually. So we're coming in right over the top of San Diego. Good look at the freeway. Overpasses and everything look really cool in this game. The only issue is there's hardly any cars on the freeway, which is not realistic. This part of the country, there's a few cars, you can see them. It's a nice little high school football field off to our left. And we come down into the airport next to the San Diego skyline. I think I heard us put our landing gear out already, which we should have by now. And then we come down right over the top of this parking terrace. You can see the cars on the freeway there. Not very many. It was a COVID shutdown. It's kind of what the streets of Portland look like back when everything was shut down for COVID. All right. So we're going to put this thing down in San Diego, and then we're going to get busy here. Start looking at venues. Much better landing there than the one in Arizona in Tucson. That one was rough. Okay, y'all, we are in San Diego, California, ready to get this Southern California episode going. And hopefully you'll stick with us through the whole thing, because we see a ton of venues in this episode. Over 20. Actually, probably over 30 venues for over 20 different sports teams. From basketball only schools to basketball and football schools, as well as all the pro sports teams in the San Diego and Los Angeles areas. This episode will cover from San Diego up to just a little bit north of LA. We're going to start with our San Diego leg. I'm going to take off here from San Diego International and check out Petco Park, home of the Padres. Then we're going to head up on the hill a little bit to San Diego State. Check out their basketball arena. They don't have a built football arena. Here's their old one. And we're actually not going to take a look at that one. I think, didn't they tear Qualcomm down? I can't remember. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But it doesn't matter. We're not going to look at it. Then we'll go check out University of San Diego. We actually miss UC San Diego. Sorry about that. But then we actually end up flying right over the top of Torrey Pines. So we'll check out that golf course. It might be the only golf course we see in this entire series, because I decided not to do golf courses. But from there, we're going to head up and land in Carlsbad. And that will end our first leg here in the state of California. So we're up in the air now over San Diego. I skipped the takeoff. This is going to be a nice little sightseeing airplane. The Icon A5, I think, something like that. Icon A5. It's kind of a slow, be able to fly around these venues and get a good look at them. Here's Petco Park. Been to a baseball game there once. Ended up on the kiss cam with my wife. We were sitting way up in the nosebleeds too. Like, we were way up there. Somehow they found us and put us on the kiss cam. It was kind of embarrassing. There's a good look at Petco Park. Great place to watch a baseball game. Beautiful setting. So we watched the Padres play the Cubs, I believe, in that game. Okay, now we're up on the hill. Check out the home of the San Diego State Aztecs. And we're going to check out Viejas Arena. It's up here on campus. It's It's a good college basketball venue. San Diego State's had a pretty good run the last decade and a half, maybe. Had some pretty good basketball teams. Kind of become the rival of my school in the Mountain West over the last several years. We've played them in the conference championship game several times. I think 3 times in the past 3 years, and Utah State's won 2 out of the 3. And then we played them in the Mountain West football championship game this year and beat them 46-13. It's not a lot of love lost between my school, Utah State, and San Diego State. Now we'll head down off the hill and a little bit north of the downtown area to check out University of San Diego out of the West Coast Conference. And they play both football and basketball at University of San Diego. You can see the city down south, and we are just up north a little ways. The San Diego Toreros. Not a huge college. And they play basketball at the Jenny Craig Pavilion, which is just above our airplane there with the greenish gray roof with the red around it. And then just there's Jenny Craig Pavilion right there. And then the football field, Torero Stadium, just south of it. So that is University of San Diego. All right, guys, we are done with our sports venues in San Diego. We're going to head up the coast. We're actually going to go over Torrey Pines and then land in Carlsbad. And then from there, we'll go check out Los Angeles. So basically when I land, that means I'm done for the day. Like, I can't do 5-6 hours of flying at a time. I can only do a couple hours at a time. So I've got to go up, do a couple hours, land. So whenever we land, that's just, I'm done with a gaming session or whatever. So there's a good look at La Jolla, California. Beautiful town. Houses aren't cheap in that area, I'll tell you that right now. Nice beaches outside La Jolla. I've been down on those beaches. Got attacked by a chihuahua. Actually drew blood, bit my ankle. Drew blood. I wanted to punt it into the ocean. Was not happy with that dog. And its owner, she was a biatch, man. She didn't say nothing to the dog. No sorry, no nothing. Like it was my fault that your stupid chihuahua bit me. I'm just walking down the beach with my family. Like, control your little dog, lady. All right. Torrey Pines Golf Course. You get a nice look at that. I think a series that just looked at all the PGA golf course venues would be kind of fun, because golf courses look pretty cool in this game. We might have to just check out, when we do our Georgia episode, we're probably going to have to check out Augusta National. That might just be something we have to do in this series. I thought about checking out Pebble Beach in the Northern California episode, but it just became too much, and it was a little bit too far out of the way, and we just had too much to cover in that episode. I mean, both of these California episodes you can see are a little bit longer, just due to the amount of content we had to add in order to make this feel like a tour of California, and not just like, here's this venue, here's this venue, here's this venue. Like, we could get through the venues pretty quick if we were just like bang, 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 here's the venues. But I want this to be a tour. Like, we're actually traveling from place to place throughout the entire country, which I think we've done a good job so far. All right. I'm not going to show you the landing at Carlsbad. I'll spare you that. And our Los Angeles leg, we're going to take off from Carlsbad, and then we've got a nice little trip to head north. And this first venue in the Los Angeles area was a little bit out of the way. So we slowly make our way over here, over Temecula. And we go a little bit east of Los Angeles and into Riverside to check out the UC Riverside Highlanders. And I'm sorry, but I missed Cal Baptist when I did Riverside, and that's the only Division I college basketball playing school that I missed in this episode, I believe. So I missed Cal Baptist, who are also in Riverside. Then we're going to head over and check out Cal State Fullerton. And I actually missed the Cal State Fullerton venue. We're just going to check out Fullerton, California, but I couldn't find Titan Gym. I don't know why I had issues with that. Then we're going to head down and check out the home of the Anaheim Ducks and the Los Angeles Angels in Anaheim. Then we're going to head to Irvine. Check out the Bren Event Center, the UC Irvine Anteaters. Then we're going to head across the valley to Long Beach. So it's a good little jaunt across the valley to Long Beach, where we check out the pyramid. Long Beach State. From there we hit an MLS venue in Carson, California, home of the LA Galaxy. And I think I have this one backwards. I think I did USC and LAFC after I stopped in Inglewood to check out SoFi Stadium. And then we get into downtown LA, Staples Center, where we get the Clippers, Lakers, Dodgers, and Kings. Then we're going to head up to Pasadena, check out the Rose Bowl. Then head back west to the northwest side of Los Angeles and check out Cal State Northridge and the Matadome. Then we'll come back down into Westwood, check out Pauley Pavilion, and then we will end off with Loyola Marymount right by LAX. Then I didn't want to land at LAX, too big of an airport for me with this little plane, so we're going to go up to Santa Monica and land there. Alright, so we're taking off here from Carlsbad, California, heading straight west. If you take off here, you'll see the ocean. Unless I skipped over it. Yep, I skipped over it, because now we are heading east again. So we took off, basically went out to the coast and turned around. Now we're heading back inland and north as we try to make our way up to Riverside, California. And we'll get there pretty quickly. I just wanted to show that it was kind of a journey from Carlsbad up to Riverside. So we'll get a couple of cut scenes heading into Riverside. Show some of the California coast range. And now we're starting to get into the Riverside area. Alright, there's a look at Riverside, California. Like I said, we missed Cal Baptist. I'm sorry. But Cal Baptist is also in Riverside, along with the UC Riverside Highlanders. Well, we're going to check out the venue. Basketball only school. No football for UC Riverside. But what a setting. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful setting tucked up under that mountain. Fly over the campus of UC Riverside. Just off the left side of the freeway there. And this is the UC Riverside Student Recreation Center Arena. It's not big. It is that square building, and to the right, the rectangle building with the green roof. That is the rec center, and the arena in it is where they play their basketball games. Not a big venue at all. It actually looks like a high school gym. Utah State used to be in the Big West, so we played UC Riverside regularly for a few years when we were in there together, and it is a small gym. But there it is, that rectangular green roof, I believe, is the arena. And now we head back towards Fullerton, and this is the venue that I missed. I couldn't find Titan Gym. I was going to add it later, and then I just didn't. So we head into Fullerton, California. My brother-in-law went to Cal State Fullerton. He is now a professor at San Jose State, but he does his professor work remotely. He lives in Logan now. So here's Fullerton, California, and somewhere down in here is Titan Gym. I originally thought I flew over it, and then when I went back and looked, I think I mistook it for a different building. So that was Fullerton. It's right close to Anaheim. We're heading now down the freeway towards Anaheim and the Honda Center, as well as Angel Stadium. So Anaheim, California, home of the Ducks and the LA Angels. The Angels should have just stayed the California Angels. To me, that was the best name. California Angels. That's what they should have been. Should always have been. They can't seem to get their identity straight. They have stuck with the same logo and uniforms for 20 years, though, so I'll give them that. I don't necessarily like the uniforms, but they have stuck with them. All right, here's the Honda Center. I have been to 2 hockey games in the Honda Center. Saw the Ducks play the Sharks, and then saw the Ducks play the Blackhawks in that venue. I've also seen a couple of Big West Championship games that Utah State played in back when the Big West held their championship games in what was then known as the Pond. I don't know where the Big West holds its tournament nowadays. We've been out of the Big West for, holy cow, like 15 years. Maybe 16 years. All right, there's Honda Center. Good venue for a hockey game. And then just across the freeway is Angel Stadium of Anaheim. And this one did not render all that well. It looks like something straight out of the apocalypse. Like we've come back after 50 years and the foliage is starting to overgrow all the man-made things. You've got trees in the stands, but it does have the nice A in the parking lot, which is cool. So there is Angel Stadium, post-apocalypse Angel Stadium. All right, now we're going to keep heading in a south direction towards Irvine, California. Skip ahead a little bit here. I learned my way around this valley, at least from the air. There's no way I could find my way around without a GPS on the ground, but at least, you know, if you asked me where Irvine was, I could point to the area on a map without much hesitation. And likewise with all the other cities that we hit on this episode, it's helped me kind of visually conceptualize the Los Angeles area, at least sporting wise. All right, Irvine, California. And we are looking for the Bren Event Center, home of the UC Irvine Anteaters. Again, a basketball-only school. No football for UC Irvine. And there it is, the Bren Event Center, tucked in the trees. It's got the square, reddish looking roof that is straight off the nose of our airplane, just above the tennis courts there. That is the Bren Event Center. You can see their baseball stadium back there too. I've had a few good baseball teams here and there. Not a historically great baseball program, but they've had some good teams. Nothing like Fullerton or Long Beach State, though, as far as consistency anyway. Alright, speaking of Long Beach State, that's where we're headed right now. We're going to head all the way up the coast and across the valley. And check out one of the more unique venues in all of sports, really. And that's Long Beach State's Pyramid. Alright, we can start to see the pyramid being rendered up there in the distance. I'll get a little bit closer here. There you can see off to the left the blue pyramid of Long Beach State. Long Beach State 49ers. Baseball team better known as the Dirtbags. We'll cut some engine here. Slow down and swoop down by the pyramid. Had a few NBA players play for Long Beach State in their day. Lucius Harris, Brian Russell. I'm sure there's been a few more. And there you go. Definitely one of the more unique venues in all of sports. The Pyramid of Long Beach State. Alright, we say goodbye to the pyramid and now we're headed towards Carson, California. Check out the home of the LA Galaxy, also the temporary home of the San Diego State football team while they build their on-campus stadium down in San Diego. So LA Galaxy in Carson, California. And here is their stadium straight ahead. Dignity Health Sports Park. And also the temporary home of this San Diego State football team. That is actually where the Mountain West Championship was played this year, where Utah State beat San Diego State. Alright, and now I believe we're headed towards Inglewood to try to get a look at SoFi Stadium. And it turns out that the map, the Bing Maps, have not been updated recently enough to have SoFi Stadium, but we do see the construction site of SoFi Stadium dead ahead. So that'll be the home of the LA Chargers and the LA Rams. It was also home of the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl a few days ago, or a week ago I should say, where my Aggies beat Oregon State. So I think there are 4 teams that have won football games in both SoFi Stadium and Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. I think they're the Raiders, the Chargers, the Rams, and Utah State. So there's SoFi Stadium, or the future site of SoFi Stadium, under construction when this map was created. And just above it there you see the Forum, which has been bought by the LA Clippers, and I believe they are renovating it, and it should be the future home of the LA Clippers as they get out of the shadow of the Lakers at Staples Center. Alright, now you can see downtown LA straight ahead as we head towards the Coliseum and all of the downtown venues in Los Angeles. Alright, there is the home of the USC Trojans as well as LAFC. So the Coliseum is straight ahead. The round building, white building, well, let's take a look at LA Memorial Coliseum first, and then we'll explain what's going on with that white building right there. So what was it? The '84 Olympics that were held in Los Angeles? The '84 Summer Olympics, I think. I could be wrong. It was something in the 80s, 1980 or 84, something like that. Okay, so this building to our right here, the round oval one, is the LA Memorial Sports Arena. It used to be the home of the LA Clippers. It is no longer standing. It is not there. It has been torn down and it has been replaced by the home of LAFC and has become a soccer venue, a soccer site. But obviously this map is old. But that is not Bank of California Stadium. That's just where Bank of California Stadium currently sits, the home of LAFC. All right, let's head into downtown Los Angeles. Check out the Lakers, Clippers, and Kings at Staples Center, and then Dodger Stadium just beyond the skyline there. So the Lakers, Clippers, Dodgers, and Kings, all right in the downtown area. First off, let's take a look at Staples Center, and let's do it from the cockpit as we go around LA. I can't believe how much of this episode I've gotten in without my kids interrupting me. It's unreal. Maybe I should go check on them, huh? Make sure they're okay. All right, Los Angeles downtown. We're going to come around the corner here to the left and get a good look at Staples Center. Eventually, this aircraft is not the fastest aircraft in the world. It's pretty slow, actually, but that's good for sightseeing, which is what we're doing with this series. All right, there you go. Staples Center starting to come into view. Just off, well, just under the words there. You can see it. Staples Center, right there off to the left. Y'all have seen Staples Center before. I'm sure you're familiar with that venue. There's another look at it, but we're going to flip around here. That's the lightest LA traffic has ever looked. Okay, now we have kind of flipped a U-turn here, and we're heading back over the downtown area of Los Angeles and straight towards Dodger Stadium. Chavez Ravine. You can see the parking lot around it. Dodger Stadium's dead ahead. Been to one game there. Watched the Dodgers play the Braves. Went to it with my sister once when we were visiting my brother in LA. He was living in Rancho Cucamonga at the time. Then he lived in Glendale. And then now he lives back in Logan, Utah. So used to visit the LA area quite often, not so much anymore since my brother has moved away from it. But there is Dodger Stadium. Super historic ballpark. Really a pretty good place to watch a baseball game. Not if you're wearing Giants gear though. Stay out of the stadium if you're wearing Giants gear. You're liable to get killed. Alright, let's swing around here and get another look at Dodger Stadium. Not the biggest ballpark in Major League Baseball. But it's quite the setting up there on that hill. Off of Chavez Ravine. You can probably hear my kids. I don't know if it'll come through on the recording, but they're making a little bit of noise back in the bedroom. But I'm just going to leave it. Y'all understand. My kids, one of them turns 3 in a couple days on Christmas Eve. The other one is 20 months. So trying to keep them quiet for too long this is actually a miracle that they've been quiet for over a half hour now. Okay, we're leaving downtown LA. We're heading towards Pasadena. We're going to check out the Rose Bowl here. And we've just got about 9 more minutes of this episode, so hopefully you'll stick with us long enough to see the last few venues before we put this thing down and gear up for our trip to Northern California. Well, hopefully this has been fun. You've seen a lot of area in Los Angeles, a lot of venues. And here we're coming upon the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. How many historic games have been played in this stadium? From Super Bowls to Rose Bowls to more recently empty UCLA games. UCLA did not draw well this past season. So here is the Rose Bowl, home of the UCLA Bruins football team. I think they do have a different stadium that's closer to their campus, but they don't use it. I think they did back in the day, maybe. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. You can even see the rose down in the cement, which is kind of cool. Just by that, I guess, kind of roundabout thing. So there's the Rose Bowl. Tucked up under the hill in Pasadena, California. And then just off that way, a little bit to the north is Glendale, where my brother used to live. Alright, now we're heading back over the hill from Pasadena to the valley that's just north of Los Angeles, but is still, I believe, considered part of Los Angeles. To check out the Matadome for Cal State Northridge. So at this point we've seen all the pro sports venues in the Los Angeles and San Diego areas, and we just have 3 more stops to see some college venues before we put this thing down and we close out Southern California. And we are into Northridge. Check out the Matadome. It's really not a dome. And it's just off to the left of that Northridge logo. Now down underneath it. Just ahead of our left wing right there. With the swimming pool, that rectangle venue. Straight beneath us, that is the Matadome. I don't know why they call it the Matadome. It's not a dome. But I guess Matadome and Matador, close enough. So that is the home of Cal State Northridge. And they do not have a football team. or a football program at the university. Now we're going to head back down south over the hill, over the North Ridge, back into the Santa Monica Westwood area, where we will see Poly Pavilion. You can see the coast off to the right. All right, we are almost over the top of UCLA. And now we are. You can see Poly Pavilion just a little bit to the right and above the left wing of our aircraft. You can hear my little boy yell. I bet you probably heard that. I'm sorry. All right, Poly Pavilion right under the left wing right now. I think we're trying to lose some elevation here to get a better look at it. So we're going to swing around. A lot of good basketball teams have played at Poly Pavilion. And there it is, the rectangle building straight ahead. All right, Poly Pavilion. And I was thinking that maybe that was a football field off to the left of it. It might just be a soccer stadium. So I don't know, maybe UCLA didn't have a football field on campus. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. All right, so that is UCLA. Now we're going to head down. You can see that airport right off our right wing. That is Santa Monica. That's where we're going to land this thing. But first off, we've got another venue just a few miles south of that we're going to check out. That's just above LAX. You can see LAX off in the distance right underneath the writing. So this is the Loyola Marymount Lions, Los Angeles, California. And there's LAX off of our left wing up ahead. And here is LMU, just north of LAX. Loyola Marymount. And their basketball venue is the one, it's Gersten Pavilion. And it is the rectangle building with all of the squares on it, or all of the other smaller rectangles, the 8 boxes. That is Gersten Pavilion. We're right over the top of it, right there. That is home of the Loyola Marymount Lions. And now, my friends, we have seen pretty much every venue in the Los Angeles area. All that we missed was Cal Baptist, and we missed Titan Gym of Cal State Fullerton. All right. Let's go put this thing down, close out Southern California, gear up for Northern California, which that episode is equally as good as this one, if not better, as far as all of the content that we see in the state of California. Holy cow, there's a lot of venues here. Okay, we're going to land here at Santa Monica. And I think we take a different plane north because we've got so much more ground to cover. This one would be way too slow. But we've got several stops along the way. So I think our first leg in our next episode is kind of the Central Valley. And then we'll stop in Fresno. And then from there we will hit the rest of Northern California. In our second leg, it'll be more of like the Bay Area leg. Put this thing down in Santa Monica for the night. All right, guys, Southern California is done. That was an awesome episode. We saw so much. And I hope it was beneficial for you. I hope you enjoyed it. It is our sports venue tour here on Mama's Basement Sports Gaming.